In the 2023 NBA Draft, the Chicago Bulls ended up not selecting any players in the event. This is because they didn't have either of their picks in the first or second round of the draft. They lost their first round pick in a trade with the Orlando Magic for Nikola Vucevic. They had top 4 protected, but it became the 11th pick in the draft, allowing the Magic to keep the pick and use it themselves. The reason the Bulls lost their second round pick is from them tampering in free agency in 2021 to acquire Lonzo Ball. This made Chicago lose out on obtaining a young player on a friendly contract that could have made an impact on their team in the upcoming years. Chicago did trade for the forward Julian Phillips out of the University of Tennessee, who was selected 35th overall by the Washington Wizards. Even though they managed to get a player in the draft, they still lost some value by trading away second-round picks to the Wizards to acquire Phillips. Another route the Bulls took to obtain young prospects was by signing undrafted players. They signed the undrafted free agent Adama Sanogo from UConn to a 2-way contract. Sanogo played a key part in helping UConn win a national championship, so this was an excellent pickup for the Bulls. We've seen many undrafted players have good careers in the NBA, and Sanogo can be one of those players. However, the Bulls can't continue to trade their picks to try to make the playoffs, which is why I believe they should rebuild instead. It's going to be difficult for them to actually contend since they are dealing with their starting point guard Lonzo Ball having a knee injury that has held him out for all of the 2022 to 2023 season. The Bulls vice president has told reporters that they expect him not to play next season. They owe Lonzo Ball nearly $20 million next season, which will make it hard for the Bulls to sign players in free agency. Lonzo Ball also has a player option for the 2024 to 2025 season, which I believe he will accept. Another reason why I think the Bulls should turn to a rebuilding team is because they've been contacting teams to see their interest in their star player Zach LaVine. This has shown me that for the right price, they would be willing to trade LaVine. I think this would benefit the Bulls more than keeping him on the team, since they don't have enough money to obtain one of the top players in free agency. They also don't have the rights to their own draft picks for the future unless they fall in the lottery, which are picks 1 through 14. I believe that they would get a bunch of draft picks and young players with a lot of potential if they trade LaVine. Chicago's other star player, DeMar DeRozan, is on his last year of his deal, so it wouldn't be that tough to trade him to a team trying to contend as well. Chicago's attempt to get a team to win the East by building a team through trades and free agency signings didn't go as planned. Out of the 2 years of them trying this strategy, it led to them being the 6th seed and losing the first round in 5 games. While in the next season, they finished as the 10th seed, but had a chance to make the playoffs by winning 2 games in a row in the play-in tournament. They won their first game against the Toronto Raptors, but lost their next game versus the Miami Heat. This caused the Bulls to miss out on the opportunity to compete in the playoffs. These 2 seasons have shown me that the Bulls wouldn't be able to achieve their goal of getting to the finals and trying to win a championship. I believe that if the Bulls want to go farther than making the playoffs, then they should restart and rebuild. However, it looks like they're going to continue to try and build a playoff caliber team, from the Bulls re-signing players like Nikola Vucevic and Kobe White. They also signed veteran players to their roster like Javon Carter and Torrey Craig. Their front office might see something in their team that many people don't. Chicago's front office might be thinking that they have talented players like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan that can get them to the finals. They might also be thinking that their team is one good role player away from being a team that can make some noise in the playoffs. All I know is that their plan to keep their team fairly the same isn't that great of an idea. The Bulls have shown that they can stay competitive during the season, with them finishing with winning records in the past 2 years. Nonetheless, the only proof they've shown as a contending team in the East is when Lonzo Ball was in the lineup. Since Ball is seen to miss the entire upcoming season, the Bulls will continue to just be an okay team. It wouldn't be that difficult for them to start a rebuild because they have good players that many teams would trade for. I can understand why the Bulls front office wouldn't want to go into a rebuild, because sometimes it can take a long time for a team to become good again and even make the playoffs. The Bulls just need to be mindful that the direction they're heading isn't really going anywhere, with them not being good enough to contend in the East or not being bad enough to land a top 5 pick to help their team. It's looking like the Bulls will be competitive this season and try to make the playoffs. However, I think that they should really consider going the route of turning into a rebuilding team that has more of a hopeful future.